Howdy folks, Harrison with Mainely Acres Farms. Thank you for joining us on another video today. I know it's been a good minute or two since I put out a video, especially in dealing with the hand crank sewing machine, so I thought it was about time to shoot a video for you guys. I've been getting a lot of great comments on our videos, and it seems like I keep having the repeat comment come through of my top thread is snapping on my machine when I get to sewing, and I don't know how to fix it. I've tried everything on your videos, and I still can't figure out how to sew with my machine without snapping thread constantly, or maybe getting a few stitches in and then snapping it. Typically how I would answer those comments was one of two things. It could be two different issues that is causing your thread to snap. It could be that your needle bar depth is not low enough, so the thread is not actually coming down far enough and it's getting snapped either by the hook on the inside of your bobbin or it's being snapped from the tension. The other issue is the timing issue. And when I talk about timing issues on the machine, it's multiple different things to make sure that you have the correct timing. It's not only the placement of your hand crank, but it's also the placement of the pitman rod, which is this rod inside of here that operates the bobbin mechanism inside here. And it's also the cams on the back side of the machine that need to be set up properly. So all three of those need to be set up precisely, because if you set up just the, if we put this at the noon position and see that our bobbin well's at the 3 o'clock, which I typically give people for the correct orientation, that means absolutely nothing if the pitman rod is not set up correctly and the cams in the back are not set up correctly. So that's why I wanted to shoot this video today, go over the complete timing of the machine, show you what my machine looks like, because my machine right now is in good timing and I'm currently sewing with it. So I figured it would be a great time to revisit that video that I put out in regards to the timing. I have like probably 4 or 5 videos out in regards to the timing. They're just not all put together on one video. So that's what I'm going to do on this video. So just a little warning to you guys, this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video. So grab yourself a beverage of your choice and sit down and enjoy. And hopefully I'll be able to cover all of the problems that you're experiencing with your machine. Well, at least with snapping the upper thread. So first things first, we're going to go over a little couple basics, which you guys should already know if you're followers of our channel. If not, I'll just retouch on those real briefly. The first thing is if you are using the thread stand that came with the machine, so it's just a little straight rod that goes on the back here, you can use that if you're running these small spools like this. If you guys are running these larger spools like this, that setup is not going to work for you guys. The reason being is because your tension is never going to be the same on the upper. It's going to be tight in some spots, loose in others, and so forth and so on, because that little post on the back of the machine wasn't meant for running spools like this. So what I would recommend to you guys, if you have that and you want to continue using something that's attached to your machine, I would either make something like this, which I made this out of the threaded rod that came with my machine. I just got a round piece of plexiglass. It was already pre-cut for me. I put some nuts and washers on it, threaded this dowel rod so it could screw on to the post here. And it makes a real simple, effective thread stand to go on the back of your machine. Especially if you guys are traveling with your machine, I would go with something like this. For everybody else, and the one that I use 90% of the time is going to be this thread stand here against my back wall. And it's just real simple. You can buy these online for $5 or $6. They're not really expensive, or you can make your own. It's just simply something to hold your larger spool over here, and then to pull up your thread and kind of cascade over a hook and then come down to your machine. One thing that I wanted to cover while we're here real quick is the proper way to thread your machine. I do have a video out on how to thread your machine properly, but the thread that I was using was very thin and small, and it was kind of hard to see when I was going through all these pieces and threading that. So what I'm going to do is move the light, bring the camera in a bit closer, and just run over real quickly how to thread the upper part of the machine. Alrighty, now I got you guys up and close, and I got a big old thick piece of white thread here. We'll talk about how to set up this machine for success. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drop down this hole here on the front of our sewing arm. We're going to pull that slack off to the back so that doesn't confuse us. We're going to come down this hole. We're going to go through our first threading guide, which is right there. We're going to go in between the two plates all the way around and back up top to come through this threading guide over here, heading in that direction. So we go ahead and pull us some slack so we can go through this next threading guide here. And we're going in now in the opposite direction and back in between these two discs all the way around and back out this side through that thread guide. Now that we got that accomplished, we're going to go through the bottom and go up the top of this thread guide here. So I gotta keep wetting the end of this thread here. It's trying to come apart on me. So we'll come up and through there. So now this next part is the confusing part that a lot of people have. So I'm going to bring you guys up here. What we're going to do is we're going to take our thread and we're going to go in between. Let me get it into place here. We're going to go in between this sewing arm and our leaper here. So the thread should look just like so. Now at this point, we're going to put some more spit on our thread because it's coming apart and go through the hole in the leaper and come out, and so we're going to look just like this. Now I'm going to pull some more slack here so I know I'll have enough to go through my needle bar, and at this point we can just let the thread go off to the back of the machine. Now we're going to get our handy dandy thread-in hook here. We're going to go in the groove of our needle driver, which is right here. We're going to go up the hole there. You guys back up to the top and push that so you guys can see that there where it comes out. We're going to take our thread, wrap it around the hook. While holding some upward tension on that thread, we're going to pull down on our threading rod. And there we go. We have our thread down at the bottom, ready to go through our needle. And the last step that we're going to want to do is to thread the needle, and we're going to thread the needle starting through this way, going through the needle that way. So the end of our thread will be heading towards the machine when we go through our needle. And I have a video that has really good pictures of how the needle goes into the needle driver, how to, take it off and put it back on with this lug. So I'm not going to revisit that on this video, but that is how you thread the upper part of the machine. So now let's get into some of the timing issues. Alrighty, so now this is the part that a lot of you guys have been waiting for. We're going to go over the timing on this machine. So first things first, I still use the same setup as far as the crank being at the noon and the bobbin in here at the 3 o'clock position. I just wanted to elaborate real quick. When I'm talking about the 3 o'clock position for the bobbin, I'm mainly talking about this mechanism here that goes like that. This piece isn't actually a part of the bobbin that normally goes in here or the bobbin casing. This has little teeth on the bottom side of it, and it meets up with the pitman rod, which is this rod here that runs in a channel back and forth like this, which operates this whole bobbin well section. So I just wanted to touch on that. When I say 3 o'clock, I'm just mean this piece here in the alignment that it's in. You guys can see it's kind of in line with the sewing arm heading that way. So now that we have all of that, we're going to talk about how to see if the pitman rod is working like it should. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate our hand crank into this position here. Now on my machine, because my cams are set up properly, when I come to this point, it kind of stops. I meet resistance at this point, And I just wanted to tell you guys that, because when we go to the back to look at the cams, that will be pretty important. So anyway, we're going to come to here, and that looks to be about the 2 o'clock position. Actually, 2 o'clock would be here, and it lies just off of 2 o'clock by that much. So in this position here, we're going to come revisit the bobbin well, because this will let us know if this is set up correctly. So let's shine some more light on the situation here. And what I want you guys to notice, if I can get the light where I need it to get, there we go. Notice where the hook is in correlation with the needle. Now, I got to drop the light here for a minute, but I'm just going to kind of point with the rod here. What we noticed before when we had the light in there is that the hook that's inside of here, that's actually attached to the bobbin shuttle, is just on the other side of the needle. And that's important because when we go to do a full rotation here, you guys will see what happens. When it comes back to this resting point, the hook is on this side of the needle, so that way when we go and finish the rotation, that hook now comes in line with the needle, grabs the thread just on this side of the needle, and loops it around to make that locking stitch. Another thing that's important is that when you're in rotation here, you want to make sure that this part of your bobbin casing clears the needle here, because sometimes if your pitman rod's not set up correctly, this will be closer over here to your needle, and that's why your thread is popping, because it's kind of, it's trying to lock that stitch when it's in that position there, and it's not allowing the thread to go underneath it, so it's being snapped right there. So you want to make sure that when you do a full rotation, that this is back enough to where it clears that needle. And that was kind of my aha moment, like when I was setting up and trying to figure out how to explain to you guys about the timing. So I don't want to confuse you guys too much. We'll go back to what I was saying. We're here at the 2 o'clock position, and we want to make sure that the hook on the shuttle is just on this side of the needle. If it's not on your machine, what you need to do is, with everything set up the way it is, loosen these two nuts here and put your thumb in here and either push this bar forward or push it back, however you need to do to get this hook inside of here just to rest on the back side of the needle. Now what I'll do here is I'll pop out the bobbin casing to show you what I'm talking about when I speak of the hook. Alrighty, so when I'm talking about the tip of the hook, this is what I'm talking about here. The end of the hook here on the actual bobbin case needs to be on the back side of the needle. What I find with a lot of people when they run into the problems of the snapping of the thread is that on their end of their rotation, their hook is set up like this, and it needs to be set up back like that to where it can clear the back side. And then as we go through, you'll see that hook comes around when that needle's in the down position and sweep by that needle to grab the thread, then pull it around, making sure that now, this plate keeps getting in the way, that we're cleared here for it to go ahead and come up with the needle and lock that stitch into place. So that's what should be happening there. Now the last thing that we're going to talk about is the cams, but we're going to leave everything in this orientation here and go straight to the back. Alrighty, so now we're in the back here. You guys can see what the cams look like in this 2 o'clock position, or just a little bit down further from 2 o'clock. And what I want you guys to notice is that this cam here is kind of sitting even on both sides on the drive shaft. So, you know, there's equal parts on either side. And in this position, we should notice that that cam is just coming to meet with this sewing bar here to start engaging with that. So remember when I told you that I just moved this down a little bit and I felt some resistance where it kind of stops? That's why it's stopping, is because it's starting now to engage with this arm here. So make sure that you even this one up on the drive shaft in this position here, so that way we can properly align this cam here. As you guys can see, these are my old marks, how I used to align my cams, and I had to move it because I ended up having to readjust my pitman rod. So I just wanted to show you guys how far off I was when I originally tried to explain the timing to you guys. So now that we have this one kind of centered on the drive shaft in this position, we want to line this Allen key up in the center of these two Allen keys here. Move it a little bit like that so you guys can see. And then the spacing in between here is going to be different for everybody's machine, and that's just based on the gapping in between these two bars here. You want to make sure that when your cams are coming engaged, that they are meeting full on with the bars, and this roller one is hitting on the center bar of this post here. Now, one thing that I will mention when I'm kind of coming to this resting point here, it's also important to have your presser foot up. So if I were to show you real quick, if I had my presser foot down, it's kind of harder to find that stopping position in here. So that's why when we're doing this, make sure to have your presser foot up so it moves that bar out of the way. So that way you can really feel, boom, I'm meeting resistance here, and go ahead and stop. But I do want to engage that again to show you guys for the spacing here of how those should hit. And there we go. Alrighty, so there we have it. So hopefully that will help you guys on how to set up your cams. What I would do is, if your machine is completely off of timing, I would set up this timing first. So I would move your hand crank into the 2 o'clock position here. Make sure to set up your cams in this fashion. Then, excuse me, I would come to the front, put that back at noon, drop your bobbin carrier inside of here, and making sure that this is at the 3 o'clock position. So, 12, 3, noon. Make sure that that's sitting in there like that. And then further adjust your pitman rod. Alrighty, so now that we've gone over the timing, how to thread your machine, what spool holder to use, what not to use, you guys should be all golden to go. If you've gone through all of that stuff and your top thread is still snapping, the only one culprit that could be now at this point would be adjusting the needle driver here. I do have a video out on that, and I'll leave a link right above, somewhere up above this video you guys can check out. It's basically just showing you guys and demonstrating a test that you can do to see if your needle is adjusted far enough down. And it's basically just taking your hand, putting it underneath the sewing arm up here, and giving a couple rotations to see if you can feel the tip of the needle tapping your finger. And like I said in the video, if the needle's coming down too far, move your hand out of the way. Don't drive that needle into there. But it definitely should not be drawing any blood, as you guys can see, off your finger. But you should definitely feel the tap of the needle, and that will let you know you guys are in the ballpark of where you need to be. Alrighty, that's a wrap for today, guys. So make sure to hit that like button down below if this video was helpful. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also make sure to click that little bell button down below so that way you get notifications when we put out videos. We really don't put out videos on the regular, so it's nice to have those notifications come in when we put out new videos. So thank you guys so much for all the continued support and all the views, and we will see you on the next video.